What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chop Shop. And we're just going live. No intro. Our guest wasn't feeling well, so he's not going to be here. But we do got JoJo and Carrie Day. And the famous Enzo, he's always here. All right. So, if we can't keep it interesting, I'm sure Carrie can keep it funny. So it should be either right. It'll be entertaining either way.
When we stray off course, jump in anytime, Carrie.
That's right.
Carrie and I are going to show you that 1 + 1 = 3, aren't we, Carrie? Let's go. Let's
and this will be my chance to just sit back and look pretty.
And everyone knows JoJo's a radio host and Carrie Day's a comedian. For those of you that are just seeing these two guys for the first time. So you guys are in for a treat tonight. I've had them on the show before, and it's usually a good time. Yeah?
It is a good time.
It sure is.
Thank you.
And Lindsay Pinzer's in the chat room. What's up, Lindsay? Carrie's back.
Lindsay. Always good to have Lindsay.
Adventures with Beth
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good night.
Glad you're all here where it's
That's right.
nice and warm inside. Don't venture outside if you're in any part of that country where it's freezing ass cold right now.
Cold.
Yep.
I will admit this thing, if I have this on, I ain't that cold out here. It actually keeps you that warm. You
look good. Yeah, you look good.
I feel good. I think I look funny, but I feel good. That's all that
matters. Yeah, I gave up looking good a long time ago. I'd rather be comfortable.
Well, yeah, I think that decision was made for you, though. I mean, let's be fair.
Yeah, let's go there. Yeah, it's just.
This one ain't a fake one either, guys. This is real sheepskin. It's not, and sheep fur. The cheaper ones, I've never had one, but for as much as these stupid things cost, they should make you look cool, and they don't.
The hats, yeah,
yes,
nice looking. I like it.
It's pretty slick.
I feel like I'm in
guys. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. I haven't always been down here.
Oh, Carrie froze up on us.
Uh-oh. That's like
you're getting
losing an engine out over the ocean.
Yep. Oh, we lost him. We lost him. He'll be back. He'll be fine. I seen his internet going out there. He started pausing and I couldn't hear him. You know what was weird on that one is he got quieter. Did you notice that? I haven't seen that happen yet.
It's like he was getting potted down. Yeah.
He kept getting quieter and quieter, and then it paused on him. So JoJo?
So I'm going to be getting hit with the cold soon. It's going to get kind of cold tonight. It's going to get down to 32, but it's going to get worse.
Oh, it's been getting colder than that here.
Yeah.
I know Deanna went to grab a towel out of the back of the truck the other day, and it was frozen solid.
Oh, man.
She picked it up as just one big, long icicle.
Man.
Yeah, it's 13 degrees here in Wichita and dropping. We've got a high scheduled tomorrow, 5, with a wind chill in the -15 to -30 area. I ain't going outside. I don't care what's going on. It's that wind, when it's that cold like that and the wind's blowing, it just slices through no matter what you're wearing.
Papa Willie just texted me and said, "Shit, I forgot. I'll be there in a minute." You're fired, buddy. You're fucking fired.
Yeah, man, I tell you. Man, I don't watch TV a lot, but I did tune in yesterday or the day before and saw the Northeast get hit. Man.
The Weather Channel had this on their channel. Of course, the Weather Channel names all of their winter storms, and
That's
you
funny.
see there at the bottom, Winter Storm Finn to blast central U.S. with heavy snow and wind. This was a couple of days ago, so it is up in the Northeast, and it certainly has blasted over the face, neck, and chest of all of the Northeast right now. So
that storm got veins drawn on it even.
I'll show you. That's funny.
What are they thinking when they put this stuff on? I mean, and they even like colored it pink and everything.
You think the guy who did this knew what he was doing and see if he could get it by the bosses? And just
he had to have been. It had to have been.
Guys, I got Kerry backstage, but I don't think it's not working. Try to bring him up. Nope, it's still circling. Something must have happened to his internet.
Maybe you may have seen that picture that I just had up, and he's going up. So, I'm gonna go out and investigate.
Turn you into a storm chaser.
I remember years ago. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was years ago when I was in college. Me and my roommates, we loved it when it got really cold because back in the old days, the way the cable worked to get some of the pay channels, they had to keep you from getting them. They put filters on your cable line, and the efficiency of the filter went down the colder it got. So when we got down subarctic, we got these pay channels. Great, and we loved it. And we were just poor students. We
got free Skinamax. Go.
That's right. Exactly.
I figured out how to unscrew those filters.
Yeah.
I had every cable, and this was when I was in the 5th grade. The 5th grade is when I learned this trick, and my mom and sisters and brother, they all had cable. This is horrible, but this is just how it is. When I was in the 5th grade, I lived in apartments, right? And they had a cable box at the end of each row of these apartments. So it'd be a cable box for 6 apartments. They had one at the end of every apartment little complex thing. When I pulled that box up out of the ground, instead of opening it, I would just screw that out and screw the cable on, and you got cable. So I would charge the other people $20 an apartment to give them cable. Because in the 5th grade, guys, I was running a cable hustle.
Cable scam. Yeah. Apartment complexes
money are just a blow, dude. I was the king at 7-Eleven, dude. Slurpees for everyone.
Right. I think I know what Andrew was going to say about apartment complexes.
Apartment complexes and like that's easy to do because it's all one central place. And when the cable guy comes by to check up on something, they're all changed around, so he doesn't know who's got what, and he can't blame it on anybody.
Right, so exactly.
Gary's gone again, guys.
I had some friends. They lived in a 4-plex kind of apartment unit, right? And and one of them bought it, and then they ran it under the floor to all the other apartments, and I think that's pretty common. So, especially in a college town. They got all these kids, no money. So there you go.
Big shout out to Art and Paranormal in the chat. How's it going?
What's up, Sam?
Glad to see you. Oh, that's great. Yeah, everybody's rolling in. This is fantastic. Hopefully,
cheers, guys.
Yeah.
We'll get Kerry back. The last time we had him here, if I remember, his internet was fine. I don't remember this happening before.
Well, he's got that bad weather up there. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like he's back right now, but his camera's not working.
Yeah.
I'll wait for his camera to come up and then I'll bring him back up.
Yeah, give it a second.
So he doesn't freeze again.
Even the electrons are freezing in the cables. That's how cold it is in different parts of the country.
That's
absolutely. We've achieved absolute zero.
But those people behind you, They're in paradise.
That's it. Party goes on.
Yeah.
Here in down in the Virgin Islands.
It's probably
let's try it again,
80 degrees there.
Welcome back, Carrie.
We got you. It's working.
Carrie Day, come on up.
Can you hear us? Nope. It's still messed up, guys. Must have a bad signal.
But maybe it'll even out. We'll just,
Normally, my fix for that is to have him leave and come back, but he's done that twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when that happens, it's usually signal.
Huh. Okay.
Almost.
Can you hear us, Carrie?
I can. I'm afraid to talk.
Oh, there. It's working.
No.
It's working.
It's
working.
I saw it like redigitized, and then you snapped right back.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I think he's back now. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
You haven't achieved absolute zero, where there's no molecular motion wherever you are that's affecting your internet.
I went back and closed everything on my computer except for this to take any pressure off the
that'll
Wi-Fi.
Sorry to disrupt all those pirated movies and stuff you were trying to work on in the background. But
Well, yeah.
we appreciate it.
Pornhub. I was doing some research on Pornhub.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're actually one of our sponsors.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably should. You probably need to you need to delay your porn downloads until later.
Yeah.
You actually weren't here when I had my I guess actually you weren't here when I had the other screen up. We were talking a little bit about the weather, and since we're going to talk about Pornhub for a second, this was something that the Weather Channel put out a couple of days ago. They were tracking Winter Storm Finn when it was just starting off down in Texas. It's all the way up in the Northeast now, but of course it reads, Finn to blast central U.S. with heavy snow and wind. Of course, currently it is certainly blasted all over the face, neck, and chest of the Northeast right now. So not sure what they were thinking when they made this graphic. But
That's funny.
That's
I had to do it at least a second time just because I think it's funny.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What are people thinking?
I
don't know. Yeah.
It's like, what color should I make it? Make it pink. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Some intern.
How are we going to
there.
work a vein in there? Just put an arrow through it, man.
Put a big curvy arrow, not like right in the middle of the track. Make it swoop around a little bit.
That's perfect the way they did the two arrows on either side too. Yeah, that's that was yeah.
Apparently, from the other circle that's on there, imagine that it missed the hole. That's certainly an amateur there.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There you go.
Thank you, Winter Storm Finn.
Was that the weather? Who's that? The Weather Channel?
The Weather Channel, I guess, names every storm now, regardless if it's like a hurricane or they just come up with. They just make up their own name. That's this thing that's going on. Like it's in the Northeast now, but they refer to it as Winter Storm Finn. So, but they've been doing that for a couple of years now, where they just make up a name for any kind of squall that works its way across the country.
Let me see exactly what the prediction is here. Let's see here. Oh, shit. For us, Monday, it's going to be 16 degrees. 16 degrees.
That's pretty cold for Austin, Texas.
Not only that, it's going to rain, and it's raining too. So we're going to have freezing rain. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. I want to get into that with the crazy drivers we have down here.
4.2 and OKC. Yeah, that's kind of normal. That's what happens when you frack on a fault line.
Fracking idiots.
Yeah.
They were jealous because we were getting all the earthquakes in California, so they wanted some too.
Because some of those earthquakes I've felt all the way up here in Wichita. We had a 5.0, well, probably about 7 or 8 years ago from that, where their geologists and all that stuff said, "Oh, that's that's an old, ancient, like million-plus-year-old fault line. It's not going to affect anything. So they did the fracking thing, and then of course when you're done with the fracking, because it forces water down into the ground and it smashes up all the rock, and the water, or excuse me, the oil rises on top of the water, and then pump it all out. And then the water they use, they just pump it back into the ground and just leave it there. That's not the same as millions of pounds of oil. It's not the same consistency or all that. And we started having earthquakes like crazy. Nothing giant. That 5.0 that we had, several years ago, that's the biggest one we had, but it's like in northern Oklahoma, and there's some old towns from the early 1800s that are just getting, their old brick buildings and stuff like that are just getting rattled apart because they're not designed for anything like that.
Sure. That's amazing. I see these old buildings in these old towns, and their walls are, the material you see is load bearing. They'll do like 4 bricks wide, right up to the roof, and then there's a little notch they put in there, and they'll put a wooden beam up there. But that's the way they did it back then. But so yeah, man, those bricks are falling down around you. Scary. It's scary. Those
towns back then, they were designed that a tornado could like rip right through the middle of it and it'll be fine, but a little lateral shaking, that's totally different. That's very different, actually. But it's kind of sad for some of those really older towns, because that's kind of all they have left is we've got like the oldest ice cream shop from 1888 or whatever it is, something like that, and then it's just gone. It just gets wiped out.
Well, a little town where my family's from, and my parents retired there. They had a farm outside of that town, and there was a restaurant my dad used to like to go to, and it was the construction, those concrete walls like that, and the roof had at least a 1-foot sag in the middle.
Oh boy!
That thing, and I'm thinking, God, I can't believe that. But there's never anybody with authority that ever comes in that restaurant. So, anything, I guess, out of sight, out of mind.
Depending on the size of the town, it's like the town sheriff is also like the guy that runs the mail, and
definitely,
It's some of those towns are like the old Mayberry type of town setup, because that's the way it is if you only got so many people living there.
My dad was good friends with the mayor. They were in that restaurant every morning, at least, if not 2 or 3 times that day.
It's got a little low.
And there was a place across the street from it, I believe, about the time my dad moved, when they retired there. I think it caved in. The walls caved in, or roof or something, and it went. The whole building went, and they cleared. Now it's a little parking lot. So there you go. This town has 1 stoplight, by the way.
Carrie,
the mayor carries the keys to the stoplight in his pocket.
I can see you guys.
When we were talking backstage earlier, you were mentioning about being live. Was it last week? And where was that at?
Well, I had a couple of shows last week, but the one on Friday or Sunday was Plano House of Comedy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's in Texas.
Yeah, that's Plano, is a northern suburb. It is, and I was telling you about the headliner. She was the star of the show. She came up from Austin. She actually, in a weird way, kind of complimented me, because she came out on stage and she said the best part of the show was Kerry coming out. He's the closest to death, but he was the one that woke the audience up.
Hey!
And I recognize that's pretty true. Why Christmas is not a big deal anymore. The quality of the presents goes way down when people know that you may not last very long.
Yes. Do you work on like a lot of smaller places, or just whatever you can get, or like this time of year, like
whore, I'll do anything.
Right.
I'm kind of a comedy whore. But I've got a thing in Oklahoma City in a couple of weeks. Well, March. So I'm starting to travel out. But I do okay here in Dallas. I've only been doing it for about 5 years.
Oh,
So it's a
okay.
new
I thought
thing
you'd
for
been
me.
doing it along with it.
Oh, no. No, in fact, Sonny knows that, but I started doing comedy on medical advice. They made me stop my stripping career. My doctor did. He told me that it was messing up my knees. And in fact, that's what I did on stage. I did a show in December, stripper show, and was talking about that on stage. And it was fun.
Do you get a feel for the room when you start doing your act that
Yes.
maybe I shouldn't tell this one to this crowd?
I get a lot of passes because of my age. I really do. And I can say, first of all, I've got colorful language, but I don't use profanity. That, don't get me wrong, I can be dirty as anybody, but there's recently there was a thing I wrote up, and I couldn't get away from the term the wet spot. And I felt very uncomfortable with putting that in because some women could find that objectionable. And although I apologize in advance, I have put it in, and they give me a pass on it.
The wet spot.
I think it's all in the delivery, to be honest. But there certainly are those crowds. I mean, I'm not a comedian at all, but I've done a lot of public speaking. I try and keep it light, maybe slip in a little joke that the crowd might be familiar with here or there. And I've done like full briefings because I was in the military for a little while, and I've had to do like full like auditorium sized places giving briefings and stuff like that, which everyone would hate. So I try and make it a little light and throw in a joke here or there, and do like the morning show, and I do whatever the joke was, and it would get like a huge laugh, which is so rewarding to get. Do the exact same joke at noon for the lunch crowd and get nothing. Like, and then
about the only time that I have. About the only time I have orgasms anymore is on a comedy stage, and that's when I get belly laughs.
It is addicting. I'll give you that. It's pretty funny that because a lot of people, of course, are just horrified at public speaking, much less getting up there and trying to be funny, because the crowd really makes what you do. You kind of feed off of it. At least I did. Is the interaction that you have with the crowd, and if you're getting nothing back, it's gonna be a poor show.
So did you find that a lot? The afternoon crowd was like after lunch, and they were getting that afternoon lull or something, and they would just be.
Are you talking to me? I don't.
No, I'm talking to Enzo. He was just telling them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've certainly done. The morning crowd is just there. It was usually night shifters just getting off work, and it was like a mandatory briefing that you had to go through. Okay. And so they had to watch it before they're going. So they're like half asleep, and they're. So you got the courtesy laugh maybe, but the morning gang that just showed up at the office and then went straight over to the briefing, they're still got their coffee in their hand, and but something about that post lunch crowd, not funny. They are not amused while trying to digest. Because I've done afternoon and even like a middle of the night kind of thing, and they're all great. Post lunch crowd, not a happy bunch.
Yeah, he said they're digesting that lunch. They're just
they are unamused by it all.
Yeah. Well, it might be satisfying to know that they're laughing on the inside. They just can't get it out.
They're looking at their watch. When you see an entire auditorium of people, when you throw out the punchline, da-da, and you're waiting for at least a few chuckles, and you see like in unison a lot of people do this. Not a good sign. It's.
I've been one of those before in a meeting.
Oh no. Do you do corporate gigs? Have you ever done those?
I do very little of that, but that is because most of my comedy is blue, and corporate gigs, they want it to be clean.
Yeah.
And I am at a point in my life where I do what I want to do.
There you go.
It's not for the money, because actually that's where the money is.
Yeah, it is.
In doing corporate comedy. Comedy clubs, not so much.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine comedy clubs supposedly get if they can get you, right?
Comedy clubs are kind of like, that's where you get discovered. Right. But a big payday is $100. Corporate gigs, that could go up to several $100s.
Easily.
This last year, and I think that they picked that because of my demographics, they asked me, and I did one, and it should have been my last one, retirement home, and it was horrible. And then I did a second one. I turned it down at first, and then the guy said, "No, we really need you, and you really like it, blah, 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 blah," and it was awful. If you can imagine, I mean, comedy is kind of interacting. Comedy is not like drama. You can't just get out there and just act, and then you have to have noise behind you.
Right.
And doing an assisted living or a nursing home or whatever they choose to call it is more like doing an act in front of the living dead. There are a few Sparkies in there that kind of know what's going on, but most of them are just staring back at you. And the last one, I almost had to take a machete to this little, I felt bad for her, this little old lady, but she wouldn't let go of my hand, and she wanted to take me back to her room. And I'm going, no. She assured me that her husband was dead. But
still visits her every night.
Well, it was just a little bit too much weirdness for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And she looked like my grandmother. I know I look like people's grandparent now, but she looked like my grandmother. It was just creepy.
Yeah, I've never heard. I mean, I follow a bunch of comedians myself, and that's I know some of the lingo. Never heard of anyone doing a retirement home. That's a little different. Oof, that'd be a tough crowd.
The guy that booked me for the Oklahoma thing, he asked me if I'd come and do a retirement home in Lawton, and I said $5,000, and he said no.
Carrie, listen to your stories. The same thing is true in the music game too, where the like the bar gigs you hardly make any money in those, right?
Yeah, but those are the most fun.
Right. You make the money in private gigs, whatever. Usually private gig, some corporate gigs will pay a lot of money, but the kind of the daily gigs in the bars and stuff like that, those are, but you're right. That's where you go to get discovered and kind of get your name out there.
And
even people who get established,
other comedians.
Yeah. And you're right. That's, usually it's for fun. You go in there and hang with the people and it's fun. Right. It is. And usually, you get the barmaids there to give you, free beers. That,
free beers.
Free beers.
All of the wait staff at these bars, because I'm a teetotaler. I don't drink alcohol, and it's not because I have a problem. Well, I do have a problem with alcohol, but I got a little bit of crazy, and I just don't need to pour alcohol on top of it. But when I go to the clubs, they give me these great big super gulp plastic cups for my drink while everybody else is drinking out of cocktail glasses. I get my waiter or waitress, whoever's waiting on me, I ask them if they will please bring mine in a glass, because I say sometimes, and it does happen, sometimes somebody wants to buy you a drink. And I don't want somebody to buy me a super gulp because I don't need another one. I'll pee all night. And tell them that when they bring it to me, I drink Diet Coke. I said, if it's a little too dark, just put a little soda water in it. You charge them what you want to charge them, but I just want a Diet Coke. And wait staff love me.
Yeah.
They love me because occasionally people buy me a drink and I'm sure that they don't pay for a Diet Coke.
I did the same thing back way a long time ago when I first got out of college. There was this one hotel bar I played in, a piano bar, and my drink of choice back then were gin and tonics, and I would be towards the end of the night, I'd have a row of gin and tonics on the piano that I haven't even touched yet, and I was just getting too shit faced because I can't hold my liquor anyway. So I did the same thing with the wait people and bartender and everything. I said, just charge them, pocket it
whatever
all.
You want.
Whatever. Just give me some, tonic water or something like that. Don't put any alcohol in it because I'll just be too shit faced, So.
Well, you look like a dweeb when you're taking, you just say, I'll drink tonic water or I'll drink a Diet Coke. You feel like a jerk.
Mm-hmm. Well, you want to accept the gift from the people.
Yes.
Right.
You don't want them to because it makes them feel funny, right? If you don't take it, it's like, what's wrong with my booze?
Right.
Well, there's nothing
Well,
wrong.
you just say it's a vodka and 7-Up or whatever. You tell the waitress to put like a cherry or a lemon or something like that in your drink, exactly. And you're drinking regular 7-Up though.
Yeah.
This is yours.
Yeah, exactly. Because now it was a small town, relatively speaking, and I'm not into drinking and driving anyway. But there were a couple of times where I'm glad nothing happened. I kind of went, it was late at night and I had quiet roads. I was going and I just took my time, but I'm thinking, this is stupid, Mike. You're going to eventually, you can't keep doing this. You got to stop it.
Did I hear that you're originally from Oklahoma?
Me?
Yes.
No, I'm from, I grew up in the Midwest, did a small stint of about 4 years in Colorado, working for HP before I came to Austin, Texas. Then I started working for Schlumberger, which is an oil field services company.
Oh, I know.
Schlumberger. It's the world's largest oil field services company that no one's heard of because that's what they want. They don't want anybody to know who they are. Yeah, well, if you're kind of from Texas, you hear it, right? You know people.
Well, that and also, I grew up in a place called Duncan, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Duncan, Oklahoma was the original headquarters for Halliburton.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Yes. Because I think Schlumberger owns Halliburton now.
But really?
They've owned them for a while. I think.
It is big.
Yeah. Yeah, and but Schlumberger is they don't want to do anything that irritates their oil customers, right? The oil companies are their customers. They don't want any controversy, none. They want to not exist as much as possible, and
which is smart. Hard to do nowadays, but smart.
Right. Exactly. Like they never. I mean, it wasn't because they were cheap. It's because they didn't want the advertising, like donating, to big college funds or making big donations to charities. They didn't do a lot of that. They didn't want the news. They didn't want anything.
Right. Pay attention.
Or you don't know when you're going to, contribute to a charity that's controversial suddenly. You didn't know. You're just, and all of a sudden now you're in the news.
Yeah.
And now Chevron's got you on the phone. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? You guys are killing me. You're killing me here.
It's funny. So do you have like a particular route that you do, Carrie, when you do your shows? Just out of curiosity, if somebody happens to live there, maybe able to catch you someday.
It's better for you to send me a message and let me know what my schedule is, because a lot of them, there are some shows that I do regularly, but there are others that just, they pop up all the time. Like one Sunday was a different format. They had a couple of guys come in. Plano House of Comedy is part of a chain. There are houses of comedy all over the country. And these two guys came in from Phoenix to host this new concept, and the concept was Hangman. Where they had these two hosts who sat on the stage with you at a table, and if you bombed on a joke, then they gave you, if you remember the game Hangman, you got a body part, and they would razz you and they would heckle you and stuff. I was lucky. I actually went there for the experience of heckling because I haven't had a lot, and I'm not sure how I would handle it. I did not get any from these guys. They liked me. They wanted me to. One was 24, one was 20, and they wanted me to adopt them, which wasn't going to happen. My childbearing years are over. But it was just a fun time. It was really a fun time.
That almost sounds like a.
Go ahead.
That almost sounds like almost like a public version of. We've always heard these stories for anybody who's watched any kind of stand up through the 80s and 90s. There was always that one table where all the comedians that were going to be on that night sat, and they would just heckle whoever their friends are that are upstage. Because
I was just going to say, Kerry might not want me to see him live because, Kerry, I am your friend that will heckle you. Not to be mean, just because you just told me you're not sure how you'll handle it.
Sonny knows this, but I have a husband. We've been together for 48 years, and he heckles me. He's the only one that heckles me. Every once in a while I'll start going a little too far outside of bounds, and he will suggest that I move back a different direction from the back of the audience.
Wow.
It's only happened 2 or 3 times, but it's funny.
So no matter what your level, that exists. That little table of inside hecklers, kind of a thing that can certainly poke a little fun at you because they know who you are.
Yep.
And I'm mostly a New York comedy guy, and for the people I follow and stuff, and it was certainly they love nothing more than to see their really good close personal friends just bomb on stage.
Just say horrible mean things to them.
Just crater.
You're not funny. When it's totally quiet, just shout one of those out. That's horrible.
I love people from the Northeast because they don't bullshit you. The thing about
they're honest with you.
Tell me what you think, JoJo. But I hate to ask somebody for criticism here in Texas because it's on the edge of being Southern, and Southerners do not like to give you any bad news or tell you any bad news.
Yeah, they're not big on that. They're
not good at critiquing.
Yeah, Texans really, a lot of people don't realize are live and let live people. They don't.
Right. They don't want to hurt your feelings. Yeah.
Right. And we have there's a lot of diversity. Northeastern, like Texas. I mean, New York. That's the proving grounds, man.
Yeah,
you could survive New York. You survive
if you ask their opinion.
It takes me 15, 20 minutes to get some critique out of somebody here. It takes me 30 seconds in New York.
If that.
Well, they're still, established pros. They'll go into the more famous studios or clubs in New York, because they know all the owners and stuff, and they'll ask for 5 minutes here and there, right? To work on new material, right? Because the New Yorkers will let you know right off if it's not funny.
Yeah,
you need to work on this. You need to work on that material, right?
My best audiences, and I don't know if you've had that experience in music, but my best audiences are Black audiences. Black audiences are the most honest, If they don't like you, they will just shut down. They won't be rude, but they'll just shut down, and crickets are in the audience.
Yep.
If they do like you, you don't have to wait for a response. They respond right away. And it is the most honest form. And they don't waste your time with polite titters.
Okay.
See, I try to ignore polite titters because I think they're kind of rude. I mean, it's somebody trying to pretend like they like it. I measure comedy based on belly laughs because people can't fake a belly laugh.
Yeah.
And actually, Maisie brings up something I was about to bring up is certainly, I'm sure you've had to deal with hecklers. How do you handle a heckler in the audience that's just razzing you?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. So
I've only had one woman or one person ever heckle me. It was a woman. And I was doing it. Sonny's heard this before, but I was
seen this.
I was talking about being a certified motorboater, and I'm quite good at it. And I was talking about that on stage, and I was at a gay venue, and this woman started just bugging the hell out of me about wanting me to motorboat her right then. And I told her I was busy, but she just kept it up. And so finally I said, look, if you've got some sanitary wipes, we could talk. But I don't, and I'm not gonna potentially put spit all over your chest without having any way to hygienically clean it up. And that quieted her down. And I didn't want to bring up the underbreath smell. I didn't want that.
Sometimes there could be an odor.
One of the rules that we have as professional motorboaters is that you take a shower first.
Very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Carrie, I don't know. Now, from my point of view, see, I'm a straight guy. I might have considered it. I might have considered it, especially if I have some whiskey to drink afterwards. I'm always, wipe myself down with some whiskey and get through it. I would venture to guess this lady had a few to drink.
Yes.
Ah.
And see the advantage that are the thing that has given me the opportunity to motorboat more women than I would like to say is that with me or with most guys, like with you, motorboating is probably a means to an end. For me, it's the end. I motorboat, I get the car, and I go home.
I'm with you. I hear that. Yeah.
There's no more time involved.
Right.
You could do it on a schedule.
Right. Well, but that does make it easy for you to form a queue, though, because it's just going to
form a queue.
You can form a queue off the this page.
I've never queued them up. The first time the woman was, I didn't know that, but she chewed tobacco and she did spill some juice into my hair. And that was kind of nasty.
Gross.
It was at a Home Depot.
It was at a Home Depot, huh?
Yeah. You've seen the Home Depots, those sheds that they have in front, garden sheds and stuff that they sell. She took me into there and said that was where she suggested we do it.
Really?
Very romantic, very appropriate place.
It was okay. That was where I learned about
no witnesses.
That was where I learned about underbreath odor. That was the first time I ever did.
Oh no! They just wafted out of the entire place.
Yeah,
I had to mark down that shed after that. I imagine it was.
Oh no! We were pretty. She spilled all her juice in my hair. We didn't get any on the floor.
Oh. Well,
that sounded bad.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Excuse me. It's
yeah, we're
That
going
sounded
from
like a
blue to
double
brown
entendre, but
here.
it was not meant to be.
Yeah.
This show don't got a rating. Get as dirty as we want.
well, certainly the audience wants us to get a little dirtier. Am I out of whiskey? No, I have a nearly full bottle. So
Yeah, he's
back yourself up to the boat launch later, and we'll talk.
I saw the question. I'm a gentleman. I'm a Southern gentleman. I don't talk about that stuff. I will say that it's probably more than 10, but under 15. And I think that's pretty good for a guy that does not have a relationship with a woman.
mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good.
Why does it sound? Oh, that's. Do you have a water pipe?
There's
I thought that somebody was peeing.
Yeah, Sonny has a leak of some type there in his garage, I think.
No, that was my water pipe. Hey, it's cold out here. I'm staying warm. Warm.
Oh no, we've offended our friend that has had enough of that. No.
He's they've beamed him up or something.
That's it.
They've beamed him up. Well, Sonny, you said something here in the title about going paranormal a little bit this show.
Well, we was gonna do that, but BlindNeal didn't make it, so we're gonna.
Oh, got it. So he's a paranormal guy.
Well, he was gonna tell a couple stories he has.
Carrie, have you ever dealt with any kind of paranormal activity in your travels?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
I have actually, and my favorite. I love all of these channels. I like the Travel Channel because it has all the ghost hunting shows.
Oh,
but
okay.
I lived in England for about 3.5 years, and I had a house with a ghost in it, and ended up having a psychic coming up from London. She was the stepmother of a friend of mine that helped the lady go toward the light, although that's not what they called it there. But it was a spinster. I lived in a very old house in a very central part of a little village. And she used to, or the lady, the psychic, told me that she was a spinster. And at the time that she was alive, the church, the market, and the pub were all within a block of where I lived. And the lady said that as a single woman, as a spinster, she would not have gone very far beyond that little circle. You know, she probably would never have gone a mile or more away from her house. And so when she died, she didn't know where to live, and she had her dog there with her. So she got rid of, we did some chanting in the living room, and then we went down to the coal cellar and we did some chanting down there. And the ghost or the paranormal presence, whatever she was, made a noisy exit out of the house, slamming doors. It was real interesting. It was real fun. She was okay. I would have lived for the first year. I put up with it, and I was tolerable with it. And I thought that we could coexist. I was in the military then. I used to wear a freshly starched shirt every day that I ironed myself. I came home from work one day, and my freshly ironed shirts were thrown all over my bedroom. And that was when I found that we could not coexist. Not if she was going to mess with my ironing.
Right.
And that
was after a year, though, you said?
Yeah. But
That's
I could
strange,
hear her.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would come home every night. In England, it's farther north than most of the U.S. And in England, I would go to work in the dark in the winter. I would go to work in the dark. I'd come home in the dark. Well, I'd come home and sometimes my house would be all the lights were on, or half the lights were on. But that was pretty much the whole involvement, except that when I tried to go to sleep, she'd walk up and down the stairs, making a lot of noise. I found that the best defense against that was just pulling your covers up over your head.
So those classic schoolyard style defense, it works pretty well. That those blankets they can't penetrate.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually very interesting, though. That you just kind of accepted it as this is something that's happening until it got to be too rambunctious, I guess, and then you had to leave. That's pretty interesting.
I was at I was in my 20s. I was at a point in my life where everything was an adventure.
Right.
And it was fun. And I loved that house. I really loved living in that house.
Yeah, I would have moved out.
You lived with it for over a year. I mean, that's actually pretty amazing, because a lot of people wouldn't deal with that, thinking that there's some invisible force marching up and down the stairs when you're trying to sleep.
Oh, he froze.
Well, I have to admit, it would freak me out.
The middle of the story, he's froze. Oh no!
Yeah, they followed him here. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, they're messing with him.
Well, the worst. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep,
yes, you're back. You're back. You're back. Go ahead.
Okay. The worst part of that for me, and I know that this sounds really stupid, but I had a lot of body shyness, and I was embarrassed to get dressed and undressed because I didn't know what this was that was in the house, and I didn't want him to see me naked.
Really? Uh-huh.
Now, when I moved to Dallas, I joined a nudist club. I got rid of that. That was my self-therapy.
Yeah.
Well, that'll certainly carry you that.
And then I started stripping.
All right.
Okay. Tony knows that's not true.
Right. Maisie Rose lives Norfolk. Okay.
Yeah. I actually worked in Suffolk and I lived in Norfolk.
Oh, okay.
And I loved it. I am such an Anglophile now.
I like England a lot. I like first of all, I like it because it's green. Texas could use a lot more green.
And the people are so nice.
Yeah, the people are nice, and I love the little towns and the little country roads, and you go into the small towns, and all these stone buildings and things are fun.
Yeah. Well, see, mine was made out of flint. My house was made out of flint, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting.
Because what they did with in modern times to insulate a house, because when my house was built, they didn't have such a thing as insulation. What they would do is they would drill holes through the outside wall, and then pump the insulation between the outside wall and the inside wall. I tried to get insulation for my house, and they could not do it because it was built out of flint. Because by drilling the hole in the wall, they could potentially start a fire.
Yeah,
I see.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think that had anything to do, all that flint on the outside, with the place being haunted? Do you think that?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
I have no reason to think that.
Some people certainly overthink things like that. I just figured I'd throw that out there because I'm sure someone in our audience was going to ask it if they didn't. So,
the psychic that came out, she made so much sense. The society.
You had a psychic come out. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was part of the story. I'd like to hear all about that.
She was the one that helped her find her way out of the house.
Follow the light.
And she was the mother-in-law of actually a guy I worked with. His girlfriend called her mother-in-law, or not mother-in-law, her stepmother. And her stepmother came down. Real nice lady. Everybody in my past is dead now. That's depressing.
Now, since you did have an interaction with a ghost when you were younger, do you ever think about the people you have known that have passed, that they may still be hanging around somewhere?
Not really, because I don't. I think that people, if I were going to come back, I would come back to someplace that was important to me.
Right.
And so I don't think that, I never think of that with other people, because although I might have been important in their lives, my home is not a place that was important to them. Now, I have, because my husband and I were actually together when we were in England, and he makes fun of me when I tell the story that I just told you. And so I have actually made him promise to let me die first. But if he fails in that, and he goes, or when I die first, if he makes fun of that anymore, I'm going to come back and just scare the bejeebers out of him. I will prove to him, because he makes fun of me because I watch my ghost hunting shows and stuff.
He doesn't believe in any of it. He thinks it's
no. Yeah, he thinks it's all bullshit. Yeah, while I'm watching Most Haunted, I don't know if you've ever watched that. It's an English show. It's terrific.
I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah.
But when I watch Most Haunted, he'll be over there watching Hallmark Channel, which is an old lady channel. And it's just, at least mine's a little more masculine than that.
And you can tell him that I used to not believe in it. There's something to it. I went out and did it, and there's something to it. 100%. It's real. There's something to it. Yep. I won't do it no more. Never again.
Well, I have seen people. I don't do it, but I've seen people play with Ouija boards, and I have seen people pay a price for that, and I won't do it. I won't go near it.
Interesting. Wow.
Now I've never experienced. Oh, go ahead, Enzo.
Oh, I was going to say, Ouija board stories never seem to end up in a good place. They're always something really bad.
No, you're right. You're right.
Go ahead, JoJo.
I had a friend in Colorado, and although I've never had anything like this happen to me, I don't think I've ever experienced a haunting. But when he was in high school, he had this summer job where he'd run these big mowers along the roads, like country roads and stuff, and mow down all the grass, right? Well, he was doing that one day. He was on his route and doing his job, and he went by this area. It's an abandoned building or set of buildings that's well known for being a it was at one time a place where you went to get well from like TB, I think it was.
Oh yeah, a sanitarium.
Sanitarium, right? And he was going around that place, and all of a sudden he said like there were just hands all over him, touching him, and it freaked him out. And he was very serious about it. And because I laughed, not laughing at him, I was laughing at watching him tell the story because he was so animated, and he was bringing this back, and he got really mad. I'm not laughing at you. You're just over the top the way he told it, But it was very serious to him, man. He was like, he had no room for jokes, He was very serious about that experience. So, like I said, I felt bad. I just didn't mean to. It's just. You ever have that laughter? It's nervous laughter. It's just kind of nervous laughter because
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, it's like, and it's like this person could be telling you the worst thing that's ever happened to them, right? And you start laughing. Anyway,
sounds like a party I went to in Atlanta, but it was inside and there were no ghosts.
Oh, okay. I would think Atlanta, if there was going to be anything in the South, that would certainly be the place. But from your experiences, and you say you watch a lot of the ghost hunting style shows. What's your personal belief as far as, are these actually the spirits of dead people that were here once before? Is it some residual energy echo kind of a thing? What do you think? Just your personal opinion.
All of the above. I believe in all of the above. I think that homes have. I think locations have the residual energy. I find that concept a little hard, but I think it's real. But I also think, like I say, I think that when you have a really close association with a thing, maybe not a house, maybe something that was in the house, you have a real connection. And that's why I like, it's an old show. It's all reruns, but Most Haunted in England, 1,000-year-old houses or forts, and some modern as well. But the mixture and the stories, they have somebody on the place that they go to visit. It's very intriguing, and it's interesting where the stuff. It's interesting to see where it happens. The only thing that I kind of don't like about the show is I can't remember the hostess's name right now. She has been with the show for about 16, 17 years. And you would think that she would not scream as much as she screams. It just works my nerves.
Oh, goodness. Oh, boy.
But I would think you would kind of get used to it and get comfortable with it after 17 years or whatever.
Exactly. And Adventures with Beth shares with us that they live on a Civil War battlefield. So their house came equipped with this kind of thing. Do you ever consider doing your own kind of research into it? Because you watch all the shows. You must be kind of more than a casual interest in it. Go investigate your own local haunted joint.
I keep teaching myself things until it's my way to stay active and alive, and that hasn't crossed my plate yet. Okay. The comedy thing has been for the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years. During the pandemic, I taught myself how to paint. Now I'm working on
that's
plants.
Good.
It just, if I figure that if I get bored, I'll die. Mm-hmm. And I'm not ready to die yet.
Carrie, have you spent much time down?
Not my time.
Have you spent much time down in New Orleans?
I love New Orleans, but I haven't been there in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And the last time I went there, it was. Can I just make one comment about New Orleans?
Go ahead.
We went about 20 years ago. We went on a cruise that ended up in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. And this was after I had stopped drinking. Mm-hmm. You do not want to go to Mardi Gras if you are not drinking.
Yeah, it's like that would be antithetical.
It is the nastiest place in the world. Because of what you were kind of wading through.
Just vomit and urine. Is kind of the smell of the Bourbon Street.
Yeah, that's so you've been there. You've seen it.
Yeah, the biggest smell I remember. It's the urine. The urine smell.
And you see all these people having a wild time, and they're laughing, and they're having fun, and they're showing their tits, and I'm just going.
Well, you figure you could show your own tits at home. You don't need to go down Bourbon Street to do it.
Just do it at home.
You can't really throw yourself your own beads. You need to get those out of the public. You need to go out and get that.
We should do a Mardi Gras celebration online.
But they're very small.
We should do.
I get thrown beads to put my clothes back on. It's oddly as that is. It's
What do you say, Sonny? Should we do our own Mardi Gras celebration this year online?
Mardi Gras celebration?
Sure. You do the puking, I'll do the peeing over in the corner, and we can
That's right. I mean, we
I
have
just
to
had a
figure out a way to
You ain't getting no beads.
Throw virtual beads.
Oh, virtual
I
beads.
just had a humiliating
Super beads.
experience lately or recently when I decided that I was going to do a promo or a kind of a body shot as opposed to a headshot for myself, and I was going to lay out naked on a baby grand piano.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would let me get on their piano.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to put my hands. I wasn't going to be ugly. It wasn't going to be like porn, but
Yeah. They
nobody
just
would
didn't
let me put my naked body on their piano.
So they didn't want
people
those
with
butt
pianos
grand-
are very sensitive about that. It's oddly enough.
Yeah, they didn't want to have to get the furniture polish out and rub out those butt prints.
Well, I was going to get on a blanket. I mean, I wasn't going to.
I see.
Even at nudist clubs, you always carry a towel because you don't want to leave, for skid protection.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you say skin or skid?
Skid.
Oh, okay.
You do. That is the first rule of nudist clubs. You always bring a towel and sit on.
It's pretty smart.
Nobody wants your skid on their new sofa.
Tell me, Carrie. I know that in a legitimate nudist club, men in an excited state is not kosher. I understand that.
No, it's not. It's against the rules.
If it ever starts to happen, what do you do? If you lose control,
you treat it like if there are young men in the organization and the club realizes that will happen sometimes. I mean, it's just hormones, but you treat it like a baby at a restaurant, that starts misbehaving.
Yeah. Okay.
You just completely ignore it. You don't slap it. You don't choke it. You don't yell at it. You just ignore it. And maybe it'll go back to sleep.
So
I thought maybe you were going to say there was a crying room that you could take your baby into and deal with.
No.
That is interesting, though, Enzo. That is an interesting solution.
But it is one of the rules. You're right. I'm not
it's a rule, but people realize if it happens, it's accidental, and they will help you ignore it. They will just.
But if you're the guy that does it at every meeting, you're probably going to be out with your towel.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to stick around.
That's
every time you walk outside. Hey, let's play a little volleyball. Oh, sorry. I'm afraid you were not allowed on the courts there.
For me, I think just the embarrassment alone of the thought of it happening would keep it from happening. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh no! I'd have to walk around with my hat hung from it all the time.
That hat? Wow!
Yeah,
impressive.
Whatever one I got on.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know if all clubs do this, but the club that I belong to, they would have a potluck. We all had to bring a covered dish to every meeting, which I thought was weird. I think covered dish, naked, is just kind of weird. My last,
I would hope all the food would be covered in a nudist colony. I'm sorry.
Well, the last meeting that I went to, and it was only about 6 months after I joined, I was at the snack table because one of my childhood favorites is pimento cheese spread. I don't know why, but I really liked that, and I hadn't seen it for a long time. And I was staying pretty close to it until I got my fill. And this guy comes over and he starts talking, and he sees some tasty treat on the other side of the table. And not being polite, instead of walking around the table, he leaned across the table for it. And his junior went sliding through my pimento cheese spread.
Ooh.
And the trails that worms leave after a rain? It left that across the top of the pimento cheese spread.
Left a dinosaur track across.
And it was like in slow-mo. And I was horrified. But then he came back and left an accompanying trail on the other side of the dish. And that was when I decided to declare myself cured from being body shy and left and never returned. I kind of like those anyway.
This gives a whole new meaning to the term double dipping.
Yeah. Pimento cheese spread has a little wang to it. It's
yeah. Yeah, it was.
I'm not going to look at
I kind of like
cheese spread the same ever again now.
When you're as white as I am and as hairless as I am, clothes are good. And light switches are good.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is light switches code for
No, light switches are code for you turn the lights out and do everything in the dark.
That's
See,
good then.
Gay people have all of these different categories that they put people in. Again, Sonny has heard me say this, but almost every category for gay men has something to do with body hair. There are no categories for somebody like me who has none. So I just call myself a chihuahua because no hair and I'm kind of thin. And so that's my claim to fame.
Well, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Carrie, most gay men have a hard time tolerating unruly body hair. You know what I mean?
No,
seeing it on another man, even they like for you to do something with it, like groom it, sculpt it, something. You can't just have it wild out there. So
advertising in the back, something. Yeah.
I think that's more of a like they've made grooming harder than ever before right now, but not. I mean, I love body hair. I'm not crazy about a lot of back hair, and I mean, my cat is so impressed that I don't get hairballs. But
I would think that the back hair would be something that
back hair they will generally get.
You would want to.
Men will get it removed or they'll shave it.
Okay.
Back hair, but otherwise not so much. I mean, there are a lot of what I call the pretty people that will do a lot of grooming and stuff. And when I say pretty people, that does not necessarily tell you their level of attractiveness, but rather it tells you how much they think that they are attractive.
So they might spend a lot of time grooming themselves before whatever.
Yeah, like I talk to everybody when I pass them. I can't help myself. It's like a phobia or a disease. But I talk to everybody when I pass them. There are some people that will not respond, at least, in a Southern way with just hello. And when they do that, my first reaction is they must not be able to hear, so I will yell it at them. But those are the pretty people that won't respond. The ones that are, they are so pretty that they are too.
So it's like an unspoken, almost body shaming. From the pretty people. Yeah.
So but I feel bad for people who all scream whatever my thing is. I told a young lady once, because I live in an area of Dallas that has a lot of parks, and so during the pandemic, I was out walking a lot, and there was a woman that was walking in front of me, a young girl. Now I do get, like I said, I get a lot of passes because of my age, but didn't necessarily on this one. But I started talking to her as I passed her, and I asked if she was going to go to Rio. And she said, no, she wasn't. And I said, well, if you can't make it down to Brazil, you might get a longer skirt.
Ooh. Wow.
Right.
Kind of stings.
She did not take that well. I thought I was being very discreet.
Yeah. Sure. It was just the two of you, like passing in the park.
Yeah, it wasn't a crowd. Yeah. I wouldn't do that in a crowd.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I might.
Did it appear she was wearing a grass skirt already?
Well, yeah, there was stuff bouncing down underneath that.
If the wind blew, did it whistle?
Who's this? I
The
bet
Saragasso Sea back there.
I bet when JoJo wears a banana hammock, it looks like he's smuggling a squirrel into the party. I don't know exactly what to make of that one.
I just recently, Mother Nature is a bitch, as I mentioned at the beginning, and you guys look like you're younger than I am. One of the latest things that she has wrecked is my ass, which was a pretty good looking ass, but she sucked all of the air out of the bubble. And so I had bought myself a Butt Lifter 3000 that
3,000.
I got from a company like Temu. They apparently have shipped or chain all manufacturing for men's butts has apparently moved overseas. So I had to find it at a place like that. And at first it was kind of a lark, but then it became a mission. And Chinese people have much different, or their sizes are much different than ours. Because the first one I got was, did I lose you guys?
No.
Oh, we're still with you. We're listening.
Okay, well, the first one that I got, I would not even wear it as a knee pad when I was out gardening. So I got a 2XL, and I've made some extra pads for them. It's the first time in my life that I've ever had a badonky donk. But I replaced it that way. When I was stripping, one of my signature things was where I always wore a sequin thong. But when my fans started ending up in nursing homes and assisted living centers, and that's where I used to perform, my tips went way down. And I couldn't afford the sequin thong, so I started buying cheap thongs, and then I would go to a rural high school that had a home ec program still and ask them to sew on the sequins. And that worked out pretty well because it really the sequins really need to be hand sewn because, you're carrying 2 or 3 pounds of change in your pouch. That really beats the hell out of those sequins.
Mm-hmm. You get a lot of girls asking for change for $1 when you're doing that.
Well, it's just their kids control the money, and all they've got is, they've got usually they've got a bowl in their room of laundromat money.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm resourceful. I can work it out. This is very weird.
I'm familiar with this crowd. It doesn't take that much to bring the naughty out of you guys. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember, and I don't know how it happened. There must have been a period of my life as I was growing older. I wasn't just not paying attention to my butt. And then one day I caught a glimpse of my butt in the full-length mirror in the bathroom. Yeah. And it scared me.
That's what happens to all of us.
What is that?
Who let the elephant into the house? Oh my God. That's
well. See, mine used to be. I used to consider it my gift from God.
Yeah.
I used to consider it a gift from God, but she just totally messed it up.
Hope you kept the receipt.
It's wicked what she does.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's
I've
like
been looking for the receipt in my ass for years. I can't find it.
I was never a 10, but when I was younger, I used to probably be a solid 7, and then I was clever, so that got me up to an 8. But my mom told me that when men got older, they got distinguished. This is not distinguished. And when ladies started coming up to me and they would say, "Are you or do you know you look like Orville Redenbacher?" I kind of, that's not a compliment.
Oh no.
Mother Nature could not even create a new mold for me. She used a secondhand mold. So I kind of surrendered to it. So I do that. When I did that show on Sunday, they had gone ahead and done a graphic because they thought that they would put, end up hanging me up there. They used Joe Biden's face.
Oh, man. That's fucked up.
Well, it's better than Bernie Sanders. People have told me I look like Bernie Sanders.
Oof. I've not seen the Bernie Sanders, but
well, I mean, do you know how hard it is to be sexually active when you've got this face? Nobody wants to look at this face while they're doing the dirty.
That's where the light switch comes in.
Yeah, that's exactly where the light switch comes in. Or
we're going to do around.
Well, the suggestion that I make is just throw a blanket over my head and we'll pretend it's anonymous.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Orville Redenbacher. He was my dorm when I was in the dorms as a freshman, and for my dorm, yeah, he was our not faculty, be alumni. I don't know, whatever you call it, alumni, blah 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 something,
Yeah,
guy, right? An alumni guy that would, and he would come once or twice a year and hang out with the kids, and I have to admit one thing: the guy, what all you guys say is true, okay, but he does make pretty damn good popcorn. I have to give him that.
He does.
He makes good damn popcorn, and I've tried other popcorns. And I say, shit. Orville's right up there, man. The thing I like about it, the whole damn bag pops. There's no kernels in there. It all pops.
Me and Enzo have seen JoJo eat popcorn right here on this show.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been a while. You've seen me eat popcorn and drink milk out of the carton.
That's right.
That's right.
See me do that too.
Please keep hands and feet away at all times.
I haven't been able to drink milk.
So these guys know if they ever come over to my house, they might want to think twice before they eat anything. Right?
Yeah.
Everything to drink. If it's sealed in a bottle and they watch me open it in front of them, maybe.
That might be okay.
That might be okay.
Never get the pimento cheese out of JoJo's fridge.
Oh, man. I'll never look at pimento cheese the same again.
No. Especially with those big scoop marks in it.
Yeah, big scoop marks. I love that stuff. But,
when I was a kid, we would be running around. We'd be running around outside playing. And when we came in and we were hot and wanted something cold to drink, we open the fridge and there's a bucket of milk in there with a ladle. You just pull the cream back and the cow hair on the top. Get cold milk and drink about 5,000 calories and go back out and run around and play.
Really?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So you got it right from the udder almost.
Oh yeah. Papa Willie. He was the best, dude, because he was young. Okay. He's younger than me, and his brother's a little older than me. And we could just get him to do the best stuff, dude. Like jackass stuff. Like if we'd had cameras back in the day, we'd have been jackass. We used to get Billy. Oh, he's watching right now too. This is funny. We used to get Billy to drink the goat's milk straight from the titty. We'd squirt it and he'd just catch it in his mouth.
That's funny, man. Well, you look at food and a lot of things differently when you grow up in the country on a farm. It's just the way it is, I mean, you see where food comes from, right? And you build up a tolerance to that. You say that's the truth.
I know. When I first seen eggs from a store, I was like, "What the hell is that? I'm not eating that." I've never seen no white chicken egg before. I've never seen a white one before. I've never seen a white chicken egg.
Did they bleach these? What is this?
Yeah, I ain't eating that. There's a stork laid this or something. I ain't eating this egg.
See,
Well,
I'm just the opposite. We've got friends that get fresh eggs, and I won't eat those.
Oh, see, they're good.
I'm terrified that I will end up with a little part of a chicken that's already half.
So sometimes you got to throw those away.
You just
but that's where chickens come from.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of fertilized eggs in the supermarket anymore.
Nope,
you used to see them occasionally. You just have some blood in it in one of the eggs.
Nowadays, no way.
You just don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
But I learned not to let it bother me because there's a little blood. Yeah, there it is. That's the way it is. I had when I first moved into my house, I got a lark, and not a bird, but I got a lark, an emotional lark, and I got 8 chickens and 4 ducks, babies, and it was fun to watch them grow. Right, that's a lot of birds.
Yeah, it is.
And then I realized they got to an age. Then I let them out. And I had the chicken coop, and I made it in the backyard away from the back door, right? And I thought it'd be fun because they were beautiful chickens, and the ducks were white, and I thought this will be cool, I'll be like Michael Jackson, I'll just let the wildlife frolic in my backyard, and it'll be cool. Well, the thing is, they wouldn't go to their chicken coop, and they wouldn't go, and the ducks wouldn't go to the house I made for them. They came up to the back door all the time and shit a mild deal. And chickens shit a lot.
Yes,
but
they do.
Ducks shit it's slimy all the time. And it got so I couldn't hack it. I couldn't train them. I couldn't get them.
I got one for you that's even worse than that, because living in the country and having all these animals, therefore eating. So I sold these 2 ducks I was a kid. My dad sold these 2 ducks to this Asian guy, and I got the ducks. I had to put them in this gunny sack, and they're big ducks, big ducks. The second one I grabbed, while I was sticking him in the gunny sack, shit like that on me. All over me bad. It was fucking horrible, Enzo. So yeah, I feel you. I hate ducks to this day, dude.
And the thing I was looking forward to in the ducks, I thought, because my brother, when he was younger and he was raising his boys, they have like 5-6 acre that their house was on. They had plenty of space, and they had a little barn and stuff, and they raised chickens and ducks. And he's talking about these big duck eggs, and I love eggs. I thought, man, that would be so good to have duck eggs in the morning.
It's not like chicken.
It's not. How's it not like? I mean, they don't taste different.
No, I don't think so.
A little different.
Well, when it comes, even the milk, like right now, there's 2 gallons of milk in my house. There's just a gallon of milk from the store, and then there's my milk. It's like it's straight from the cow's titty. It's not processed like.
Well, I can believe I can taste the difference in that raw milk. And
so when you drink like milk from the store like that, it tastes like what you're used to tasting. If you drink my milk, it tastes like you're drinking half and half. That's what it tastes like. But it's not half and half. It's just milk.
I love that too.
Yeah, that's what milk from the cow's titty tastes like. It tastes like half and half, but it's milk.
I buy the gallon containers of half and half, and then when I run out of milk, I'll just start drinking the half and half.
Well, then there you go.
I have a fridge out in the garage too, so I'll have like 6 to 8 gallons of half and half in the house. I love half and half.
Yep, that's good stuff, man.
Especially on like cereal and stuff like that.
That's how I keep my girlish figure.
So there you go. I love that stuff, man. So it's okay. It's half and half. What's the other half? Pure cream? Is it like whipping cream?
I would say half cream, half milk.
Yeah,
what it is. But But see, I've grown up calling half and half cream. But so what is the real cream? If I go get, is there real cream in the store? I've seen whipping cream. Is that real in quotes cream? Is that full strength cream? I just wondered what it's
curious
called.
with
half and half is basically the stuff that's coming off the top of the milk.
Right. It's
that's how we used to get milk delivered in England.
Pull back like that. That's the cream, and then I dip underneath that and get the milk. And yeah,
I'm curious with Maisie's liking sheep milk, and it makes fantastic ice cream. That sounds intriguing to me. I would love to try that.
Yeah, I haven't drank sheep's milk before. Goat's milk is Buttermilk is disgusting to me. Buttermilk is not good to me. My brother likes that nasty stuff.
I met this city boy in college in our dorms, and he didn't know. Amazingly, there were a lot of types of foods, particularly like meats. He didn't know what animal they came from. He did not know that bacon came from a pig. He thought we were kidding him. He says, no, people don't eat pigs. People eat pigs. I bet you have to have eaten a pig part at some point in your life. Come on.
I have known more than a couple of Muslims throughout my lifetime that didn't realize that same thing. They would go to a restaurant and order something that bacon's delicious. It's like,
yes,
that's pork, right? Like, no, it isn't. No, it is not. No, it isn't.
I don't like to eat.
It's too delicious to make pork.
I don't like to eat too much pork. I'll eat some bacon, ham when I got to. But, man, I don't want to gross anyone out that likes pork. But my cousin makes fun of me because whenever he offers me pork, I always tell him, I don't eat swine, my brother. Well, but the reason is if you take soda, take a bottle of soda, Coca-Cola, and go get you a pork butt from the butcher, go to your restaurant, get a fresh one, not a frozen one.
Yeah, bring it home. But
bring it home and then just cut it in half.
Called that before. Does that count?
Cut it in half and then take the soda and pour it on the pork butt that you cut in half and just let it sit there and then just watch it. And when you start seeing the parasites crawl out of the meat, that's what makes me not want to eat it. I mean, there's a lot of them. It'll blow your mind. There's going to be so many of them just coming out of there. No,
you mean in a modern
right now? Yes, pigs are dirty, man. They live in pig shit and mud, and they're nasty creatures. I raised them. I know.
Well, but I still can't give up bacon. Man,
I know. That's what I said. I eat the bacon still. I figured that's good enough that I'm just eating little tiny slices of parasites.
Yeah. So the parasites are all cut up into little pieces.
It's hard to swallow.
That's just extra.
Literally.
That's seasoning. Yeah, that's just.
Fish does it too. Ocean fish does it too.
Yeah, anything wild like that, you're probably going to find something like that. That's to be expected.
Everyone's going to go look that up, and yes, you're going to hate me for it. Go search it somewhere when we get done with the show.
If you tell everybody, they're going to have to start charging for it. There's protein in there, man. Come on, that's a bonus.
It's not nice.
I've seen at least one Sopranos episode where the guy they whacked, they took it to the pig farm, right? Cut him up and fed him to the pigs.
Pigs will eat a person. They will definitely.
They will. They will eat everything. It doesn't
matter. We had one boar. We had one boar that was so big. He had won like 7 blue ribbons for 7 first place trophies for being this perfect pig. And it was tall. Like when I stood next to him, it came over my waist, up just under my chest, and easily 7 feet long. And it's a black and white pig. It's a hamp, and my dad was terrified of this thing. It had tusks that stuck out of his face. And I would get in the pen, and he just follows you around. He just follows me around. The only dangerous thing is he wants to get up next to you, and you start rubbing him and don't pay attention, and he'll fall asleep and fall over. and he'll fall right on top. You got to get out of the way.
Mhm.
He's like he's over 1,000 pounds.
I'm hearing that.
It was big. He's over 1,000 pound big.
Deadwood was also famous for having those scenes where they'd kill somebody and they just throw him in the pig pen and let him get rid of the evidence.
That pig could eat a whole person by himself.
I've had wild boar before, but I've never hunted for it.
That's not that good either.
No, it was real tough and gamey tasting. But when I hear of people who are anti-gun say, well, an assault rifle, what we call an assault rifle, has no, people don't hunt with assault rifles. I'm thinking, I've seen boars, man. I've seen boars, and I would go in with if I was going to hunt a boar, I would go with an assault rifle.
There's actually areas in Texas where it's so bad they'll do it from a helicopter. We're just
where they're trying to get rid of the boar in their property because
they will decimate.
I've seen a guy that has a boar trap that just when they go up in there, a bunch of shells go off, shotgun shells, and it shoots. I was like, oh, that's horrible. It kills them all at once though. Like they all get in this trap.
Was this one of the tannerite things?
I have no idea. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. Dude.
They get like sniper type guys that are long range shooters, and they'll just put a giant block of tannerite out there and a bunch of feed.
Oh yeah, they did that too. I've seen that.
In there,
they just blew them up. Yep.
Light up that tannerite, which it's an explosive, and you just see bodies just flying in pieces, going in all directions.
Well, I guess if you got a ranch or something, you got to take care of it, right? They'll do.
I guess, yeah. To me, it seems horrible, but they probably do destroy your ranch.
They destroy a lot of crops that are feeding you and me. Go to the store, hey man, how come these prices are up? Because the wild boar eat all.
That big pig would get out, and my dad would come and get me out of school because he didn't want nothing to do with that big ass boar. And it was so funny. I would just go out there and call him, and he would run to me like a dog and then put him back in the pen. But if he was out for an hour, he tore up a whole bunch of shit in 1 hour. Wow. Just an hour time, and they mess up everything.
Will they attack other livestock?
Oh, hell yeah. He's mean. I mean, he's not mean to me because
you're big enough, sure.
But he was mean to strangers. They're like dogs, not just livestock. They would attack livestock if it tried to attack them. They would fight it back. But they would they
want it to eat it? Would they want it to eat?
No, they want to hurt it, and get away.
Okay.
Those big tusks, he could jack you up if he wanted to.
I believe you.
Oh, he's got me. He got me with the tusks. He's made me bleed with them tusks, but on accident. Like I'm feeding him or something, and he'll want me to scratch him, and I just keep ignoring him, and then he'll bump me like that and hit me with that tusk, and it'll just cut you. It doesn't mean to do it, but it happens.
I mean, a boar will chase you up a tree, won't it?
Yeah.
A wild boar?
Yeah, they'll hurt you. If they get you on the ground, they'll stab you to death with those teeth.
And they're also...
And if they bite you, they can take chunks out.
That gives me a business idea, though.
When I was a kid, a friend of my dad's brought some boar over.
My mom was.
Your mom was what?
Depression era, and she would be thrifty. And I am looking for my final plans, and I'll be damned if I'm going to buy a coffin, because those suckers are expensive. And so I'm kind of going the thrifty way is cremation. Not really crazy about that so much because you'd be surprised that they will still charge you up to $5,000 to $10,000 to cremate you. But have a pig farm and just have the family of the bereaved family bring the person out there and just toss them. I don't mind that.
Have a pig farm and die feeding them pigs, and I guarantee you won't have to have a funeral.
Let me tell you.
As soon as you hit the ground, the first one that sniffs you is going to take a bite out of you if you don't move.
That's fine.
I've told people in my family.
To be fair, you're dead already. It's not like a kid.
I really don't care what you do to me after I'm dead. However, Carrie. That's the first one that I might hear a little bit. Feed me to
Well,
the
it's just
pig.
I figure I'm a man of faith. I believe that when you die, your soul leaves, and that's what makes you you. So the rest is just trash.
Carrie, what if we're wrong though? You're dead. You can't move, and you're just sitting there. All of a sudden,
I never thought about that before. You're right. That is a thought.
I've actually considered the only tattoo I would ever have would be keep what's in my wallet, just throw me in the nearest dumpster kind of a thing. And just, that's it. That's my burial. Because I will certainly probably die alone and someone will have to find me. But
the only tattoo that I ever wanted, and I'm glad I didn't get it because I'm past that point. But when I got my pacemaker, I was still going to swim parties and stuff. And I had this lump in my chest and I wanted a third nipple tattooed onto the pacemaker, so that I thought that would look less weird than having a big lump sticking out of my chest with no definition to it. So I didn't have it done, but
not too late.
I told my husband to make sure that before they throw me, because they take all that stuff out of you before they throw you in the pit to burn you. And I said to make sure that they got my pacemaker. I just got a new battery in it, so we could sell it on eBay.
I like this idea.
Used pacemaker.
Find out and research with. I want to be cremated. My ashes put into plastic fishing lures so my friends can take me fishing. I actually like that.
That's damn smart right there.
I tell you,
that's actually pretty good.
My mom could squeeze a nickel so tight that the buffalo would poop.
I tell you, man, that's not for compost. The fact of having the pigs eat me or being used as fish bait.
No fishing lures. No bait.
Well, Maisie Rose says that they can turn you into
fishing
compost.
lures, not the bait. I thought there'd be these little pieces of meat on the hook. They take you out. That's gritty. That's some gritty stuff there. It's gritty.
Did you see where somebody launched a probe to go to the moon here this past week and it failed miserably? But one of the things it had in it had like over a dozen different scientific experiments in it that from different countries to include NASA and things like that it was going to perform, but it's not going to make because it had a misfire and just kind of went spinning way off course. But some of the things that it had in it, which apparently there was a lawsuit in U.S. courts over it, that it had people like tiny little vials of people's ashes so that once it landed on the moon, it would kind of like eject out from the spacecraft and you would get this burial on the moon for these people.
Yeah.
And, cool. But there was, and I don't recall which Native American tribe it was trying to have a lawsuit saying, no, that's the moon is part of our folklore and our religion and everything like that. You can't go burying people on it. It's kind of ours. It's part of our thing. NASA was like, I don't think so.
That's interesting.
But that's still an interesting concept, though. That
so it's in the courts now. It hasn't been decided.
Well, I mean, they didn't decide it. That it didn't stop them from launching the probe, which I found interesting because they must not be taking it that seriously to just basically ignore that, because they would have never launched it if that was something that was held up in court and taken seriously. But it technically is something in there, and it's technically true that they consider that, the moon is part of their culture, and that's where, this person lives and this being lives and things like that. You can't just go burying your somebody else on our ancestral lands was the wording, I believe. So they got that.
They just shoot those out all over the moon. Aliens are going to be picking them up and use them for little pepper shakers.
Little baubles. Yeah, I'd be like, can I smoke this? It's already been smoked. It's just ash.
I heard a story Not exactly, but kind of related to this. It was a guy who had a business. He was a pilot, and he had this business for a number of years, apparently, where he had a service where he claimed he would scatter your ashes over the ocean from his plane. Okay. Well, they caught him lying. And here's how they caught him. They caught him because they found this building somewhere, something, a storage building. I don't know. But they ran across, someone discovered it, and it had apparently, I don't know, a few hundred of these canisters in it full of remains. And I'm thinking, okay, I can almost see someone lying and cheating people for money. That I get. What I don't get is if he's going to do that, why keep the remains around? Why not get rid of them somewhere?
There was
maybe he was going to do it. He's a procrastinator.
Maybe
well, that's it. That's not the first time that's been discovered. There's been multiple cases like that over the last 20 years where they end up investigating some crematorium that it's supposed to be, cremating all of these bodies, which actually takes a lot of energy. You have to put a lot of energy to cremate an entire body like that. Mm-hmm. And even when you do, there's still certain bones that just will not, and you're supposed to pulverize those and include that in part of the whole package when you deliver the little hermetically sealed box of ashes to whoever the survivors are. Mm-hmm. But these people were just burning up stuff and just filling up boxes with like wood ashes and stuff, and they still had the bodies were like stuffed in behind the woods. They're like up in the ceiling tiles of the building they were in, where the crematorium was. It's like, it always smells like that because of the dead bodies.
Oh God!
It was really bizarre.
I saw that.
They're just hiding them. Yeah. And just the lengths that some people will go, it's just like there's no, even when you die, there's nothing sacrosanct about any of that. It's just like, just going to chuck you
I've been told that
up into there.
About 20 years ago, Austin had an embarrassing thing happen in the city of Austin. There, for years, when the road department, street department, whatever, would go and pick up dead animals, they're supposed to dispose of them properly, right? And for good reasons. There's disease and all kinds of stuff you got to worry about, right? Well, it was some major intersection. I can tell you where it was. I believe it was people that know Austin. It was at 2222 and no, it was at 360. And then at the highway that it intersects towards the southern part of 360. And what they were doing was dumping the animals. It was like, a circular area. They were dumping dead animals in there. And apparently they've been doing it for a long, long time, to the point that people finally complain that there's something nasty smelling. We go by that intersection, right? And the city went and inspected it, and there were just 100 animals or maybe more, just dumped in there because they did, probably right because they didn't want to fill out paperwork or something. Who knows? It was they just dump them in there, so no one's going to care. They got caught. That's pretty embarrassing for the city.
That's kind of weird, because I just bury them if they die.
Well, but
you just dig a deep hole and bury it, just like a human.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's paperwork involved. I'm trying to think of what would motivate them not to do it. Well, first of all, they would have had to dig a hole. Here, they weren't digging a hole. They were just having
they don't want to
tobacco and all that. They're supposed to be burning them or whatever. That we can just stash them back here. Nobody's going to find it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I used to have the house I used to have in Austin had a pet cemetery there. It was really cool too. It had a friend of mine give me what is it? The patron saint of animals. and it was a pretty good sized concrete statue they gave for me to look over the pet cemetery. You know, it was pretty cool. It's down by the creek in back of my property. It was kind of nice, but went down there one day and the concrete gal was gone. And I thought, really? Did someone take that? Slow down. Come to take my concrete patron saint of animals out of my pet cemetery. It was gone. There's no trace of it. So there you go. There you go. That's the kind of world we live in. Take it away, Gary. Take it away.
You invest money in buying a plot, buying because even just like a cheap coffin is super expensive. Plus a plot in a cemetery and all that. It's like, nah, just my body goes to science and they can do whatever they want with it. I don't care.
Science doesn't want mine.
Yeah. It'll all be pickled in little jars for the oddity section. This is,
my grandmother bought cemetery plots for my father and my mother, and then her daughter and her daughter's husband, right? And they're her and her husband, right? So they could all be buried together, which was the source of a major argument in my family for a number of years. You know, it's like, you know, but my grandmother, that's the way she was. You know, she couldn't understand why someone might have their own things they want to do with themselves, right? She bought the plots and it's really hard to sell them. I remember my mom and dad still had them when they were alive, and you just can't sell them, right? They once they've been sold once, no one's interested in them. So there you go. What do you do? My parents were big on wanting to be not be a burden on their children, so they were big on being you know. I'm sorry, I just forgot the word. You know that word. Disposed.
There went his head. He's shut down.
Well, but you know, so that was an issue. You know.
Oh, we lost.
Being cremated. That's sort of my. Yeah.
Right. It's that's one of those things that families argue, as morbid as it can seem. That is one of those things you need to start talking about at some point, because we all are going to die eventually.
Hey guys, I'm gonna shut the show down here pretty quick. It's almost rolling up on 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Carrie.
Yeah.
We'll see if Carrie comes back. He can do some final plugs and we can get out of here.
Yeah.
But you're right, Enzo.
We ended on such a cheery note.
Well, you know,
you're all gonna die, and don't eat pig meat.
Don't let the pigs eat you.
See, now this part of me wants to do this experiment, Sonny. Damn it! And I don't want to do it, but I
just
want
look it up.
Just to see if it happens.
Just look it up on YouTube or something.
Yeah, if it's true, there'll be a YouTube video on it. Someone will have done it. Okay. But you know, people take this. I mean, there are a lot of religious reasons why people want to be certain things to happen to them. You know,
right?
And yeah, you're right. And so it's so Sonny. I can put any kind of cola on this.
That's
And
right.
you
Does it have to be diet soda?
I've seen it with Coca-Cola.
And you said it was a pig butt. I can't do it with any.
No, I just was thinking of a cheap piece of pig meat. It was just pig meat. I don't know which part it was.
So I could.
There was a famous thing about the reason not to drink soda was like an anti-soda thing, where you just take regular Coke out of the can and pour it on like a slab of bacon or a piece of ham, and it would just disintegrate the meat. And just in general, it's like you're putting this in your body. What is it doing to your body when it's doing this?
Right, it's like an enzyme to the meat. It would just dissolve it. Yeah, it's nasty. I don't know
if he's Carrie's gonna make it back.
I don't think so.
Might have gone to the store to get a can of Coke. Try it out on himself.
Important, but
what's going on?
Well, after the show, I'm going to have to look this up on YouTube just to see if it's true. That's true. That's nasty. That's some nasty shit right there. Oh my god!
Sonny's gonna look it up, and we're gonna have to look at it after the show. Yeah. Beth is saying it's true.
Who said that? Beth. Okay.
Adventures with Beth.
Mm-hmm.
It's Adventures with a Z, so it must be true.
Yeah, that's what I seen. It looks pretty true to me. Oh, that's horrible. I thought I seen a piece of chicken in there, so I ain't watching this video. Ain't gonna ruin chicken for me too.
Oh yeah. Oh god. It does it with chicken.
Sometimes you're better off not knowing what's in the food you eat. It's just cook the crap out of it and eat it, and just don't worry about it.
Why does chicken get so nasty with bacteria? Is it what about the manufacturing process or the processing of the meat makes it so nasty? Right, because that's the thing that they say will make you sick quicker than anything.
Oh, the salmonella, all that stuff.
Yeah, salmonella.
It's just everybody wants that breast meat, and you have just dead exposed flesh that's sitting out in the open till they can get somehow to a refrigerated plant after getting carved up and get the cellophane on it so that bugs don't get on it and everything else. What's got access before all of that throughout the entire assembly line process? Because actually, when I was a younger guy, when I first went in the Air Force, I knew a guy that he grew up in Louisiana where one of the big poultry plants were, and that was his first job as a kid out of high school, was working at this plant. Of course, a dumb kid out of high school with zero education, you get this shit job, literally. It was his job to reach into the crate of live chickens, put them on this assembly line kind of thing, and kind of like clamp them in. And the way that they were facing was like their butt was kind of facing toward. And he said every time you'd put them in there, he'd just shit all over you. He said like he had like a little face shield thing and a big apron and all that. He said it was so bad, and of course this was a long time ago. He said it was so bad you couldn't keep a lit cigarette in your mouth. Because they just. But after, because you kind of like clamp them into this thing where their head's sticking out one way, their butt's sticking out the other, and they'd go around on this assembly. This was one of the Purdue plants. They would go around on this little assembly line, and there was a machine. The very next thing was like it would cut their head off, and then they had another thing that would like dump them in boiling water, and all the feathers would like mostly come loose. They had like these little brush things that would knock all the feathers off, and then it was fairly automated, just going around carving the thing up,
man,
and putting it in that little styrofoam container with the cellophane on it, and that was it.
The little town where I ended up graduating from was the same thing. You know, there was a meat processing plant, which is the plant all the kids, you know, wanted to get a job at after high school, right? And the stories they told me, like the first job, as Enzo pointed out, your first job is the shittiest job, and then the second job is the second shittiest job. The shittiest job was they put you on the kill dock, right? And I don't know if it was, it might have been pork. I don't know if it was pork or beef or what, but they had the kill dock, right, where they put them in, they get them off the truck, and then, and of course meat processing is not humane. I don't think.
It really isn't. It really is not.
Because those animals can sense stress. They can hear the other animals, right? And they're stressed like crazy. And then the thing you got to do is you got to whack them in the head with this hydraulic, or pneumatic ball. It would be a ball that would shoot out of this gun and knock him in the head and kill him. And then, so that was bad. So that's your first job, because they wanted to make sure if you're going to work there, you had no misconceptions about what happened in that plant. Right. So that's okay. And then the other thing, the next thing they put you on is they called it the slime dock. And the slime dock were all of these fluids, body fluids that came out of these animals during the processing, right? And they were collected somehow, I don't know. But at the end, were these probably, like big faucets or something. You're filling up these barrels full of slime. You get your rubber hammer and you're putting the top on them or whatever.
We see you guys. Enzo, Jojo, how much trouble will we get into if we played anything from YouTube?
Probably quite a bit, especially that.
You've seen it already? It's horrible.
Yeah,
that's the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life.
What?
We don't need to share that with the audience.
Go check your messenger, Jojo.
Okay.
Oh.
You could maybe say the title of the video.
Could we share the link
for it themselves?
Could we just share the link in chat? Couldn't I do that?
I guess you could do that. I don't know if that's something that anyone would want to see. But
no, it's not something I would even believe if you told me. I'd have to see it. Oh my gosh, it's just getting worse towards the end, dude.
You're still watching it? I saw the thumbnail. I was like, yeah, I've seen it.
I gotta see what's gonna happen with this thing.
This is the one where they've got the worms crawling out.
Oh no, this is even worse.
Oh God. What is it?
If you enjoy your food,
grinder parts.
Okay.
That was the shield for the grinder. Those are for sissies. At least they eating it with green onions. They are preparing, it says, sweet and sour cow vagina. Vietnam street food.
Really?
Yep. No jokes.
Sweet
and
sour. Okay, let me repeat this to make sure I heard it. Sweet and sour cow vagina.
That's what it says right there on the phone.
Wow.
It says sweet and sour cow vagina.
Wow. So this must be Asian or something, because they eat stuff like that.
Vietnam.
Vietnam. It's in Vietnam.
Okay.
I'll post the link if somebody would like to see it. You are welcome to click on the link and I guess enjoy. But
a number of tasteless jokes come to mind, but I won't do that. I won't do it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, well, this beats the hell out of the slime dock, doesn't it? It makes the slime dock look pretty good now.
That's horrible.
Well, anyway,
my computer is rebelling. It's not letting me paste the link. Even my computer doesn't like this.
It said no. Don't watch it. Hey, yeah, you need to put a lot fucking more pineapple in there.
Remember
to get me to eat that.
Everybody out there, it's not possible to unsee something.
Oh,
view it at your own risk. But anyway, that's
so funny.
I don't think Carrie's coming back. It looks like.
No, I talked to him. He's not.
All right. Did he have anything you wanted us to plug for him, where people can find his stuff?
You said he was going to say bye and he had to go anyway, but he didn't say nothing about plugging nothing.
All right.
So you guys can find him on Facebook, and you can find him on some places on YouTube. I've seen videos on him. It might have just been Facebook, but I thought they were on YouTube also.
Thank you, Major Rose. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by and spending your evening with us. Didn't know we were going to end in such a dark and twisted path.
I know.
I don't know why I'm really that surprised.
It's because I was hungry, and I seen sweet and sour, and I was thinking, well, that's got to be good.
Arden is saying eating a sandwich. Not now. No. We may owe Arden a cleanup job.
Hey, I thought it was going to be something funny. There ain't nothing funny about that. That was all real.
All right.
Let's wrap it up and get the hell out of here before you look something else up.
Yep. Yep, because I'm going to start showing it on here.
Can I get that on a half shell? Can I get that like a?
See,
like
there are no midnight snacks going on now because of us. We're helping you to stay on that New Year's diet that you said you were that you ignored 2 weeks ago. We're helping you. This is a helpful hint from the Paranormal Chop Shop, just for our watchers. I
got to tie my flaps up. Sorry.
So you can take off.
Yep, they were falling down. I'm getting ready to flap out of here. I noticed my ears were getting even warmer. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. It was a good time.
Another successful evening.
Yeah.
Right.
It was fun.
Successful.
It was fun. I'll try to get another guest for next week. We'll figure something out. Some more paranormal stuff going for everybody.
If not paranormal, at least abnormal.
Lindsay's still eating her pizza. Screw you guys with whatever else you're throwing out. She's got pizza to be eating. Screw you.
Yeah, if we can't find a paranormals, we'll just try to get one normal.
Quasi-normal.
Yeah. Is that what that means? No. Paranormals, does that mean it's 2 ghosts?
Yeah, it's 2 of them, right?
Or paranormals would just be regular people, right?
It's 2 of a kind.
All right, guys. It was fun. Let's end this.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, guys.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Have a good evening. All right.
Peace out, y'all. We're not even going out with no music. No nothing. We're just out.
We're going to go
Peace out. See you next time.
Bye.